This is the Mark IV version of this. This has gone through 4 different versions that were tried and scrapped and on the junk heap. But this is what we're using for all of our feeder pigs now, and this is the basic design that we've had in operation for the past year or so. I'll show you guys more later if you want to, but the only thing holding the tank, so we call this the tank, the bottom's called the cradle, and the only thing holding that on is those 2 ratchet straps. So we can take the tank right off if we need to. Again, we're not going to be able to 100% solve water issues with these, but if we can solve 80% of it, that's what I'm looking for. And a good 80% solution beats an expensive 100% solution. So like we had, the hurricane come through a month or so ago, and we had 6 inches of rain. We had to go out and pull the tank off of the cradles, flip them over, knock all the wet feed out of them, and then put them back together, and we were good to go. A couple of features on this. We found that we had to put these PVC guards on them because the pigs love to use the wood as a scratching post. And on one of our earlier versions, in about a year, they would wear that 2x4 down in half, just rubbing on it, and it's just getting worn away and highly polished every day. So that's why we have those on. And then along the bottom there, that's just to keep the wear and tear from them reduced. So we can move it fully loaded or empty. Holds about 1,500 pounds of feed, and again, it's about getting the cost as low as we can. So our material cost into these is about $200 as opposed to 2,000. Takes me about 4 hours to build one of them, but I've built a lot of them, so I understand it could take someone a little bit more time. This is the first of these things though that we are going to have downloadable PDF plans for. So we've been working with a designer on getting all of it into a cut list and a build list. And so that's something that we will have available within a few days. That'll be on the website. People can purchase it and source the material yourself and build it out. But we're probably using 10 of these on the farm. And so we're looking at $2,000 in cost as opposed to $20,000 or $40,000 if we were having to buy them elsewhere. So it makes a big difference when you start putting together a scale operation where you got to have multiples or dozens of the same thing. Those $5, $10 things start adding up quite a bit. Any questions on this guy while we're here?
So that one, is that finished? How does the feed come out of it?
Put in the top of the tank here, which we have a lot of these. We use a lot of tanks just as bulk storage for like lactation feed. So we got a lot of these lids around. You can put something else on the top, but it's just a waste piece. Perfect. Slap that thing on there. So the feed goes in the top. We load it with a grinder mixer. And then in the bottom of the tank, I might as well just flip it off. Then you can just take the tank, pull it out. So it's got this groove cut in the bottom, and that's where the feed is falling into the cradle. So you can adjust the size of this hole depending on the feed consistency that you have. There's multiple ways that you can adjust your feed flow. You can cut a slighter groove if you have, I would say like pellets, something that's going to fall real quickly. Our feed is fairly sticky because we use a lot of peanuts in our feed, so it's cakey. So we need a bigger hole for it to fall through. On the cradle here, so the feed is falling down into here, and this is a piece of 6-inch PVC. That's what's directing the feed to either side. And these are essentially rollers or agitators that when the pigs are coming to eat, they're hitting those, which is agitating the feed behind, and also lets them get up here and like nibble some and try to pull it out. But you have to restrict their ability to do so, or they're just going to go after the peanut nugget or whatever in there and flip the rest of the stuff out of the tank. So, again, you can adjust the size of these. If you've got really sticky feed, you can go to a smaller, these are 4-inch ones. You can go to a smaller one, like a 2 or a 3. Or if you have real slick feed, like pellets, you might need to go to like a 6 and restrict it even further. But, so the rollers can also come out. You just pull this little clevis pin on here, this piece of rebar that runs through it. You can just pull that out the other end. So if you've got a clog up while you're in the field, you can just pull the roller out, pull the jam out, put the roller back in, and good to go.